Good morning. This isn't the first time that I've actually tried to record my first video for this channel. I've had multiple attempts, mostly because this is a new little camera. It's an Insta360 Go Ultra. I needed to find the right settings. I needed to find the right position on my body. I have tried in the past having cameras mounted to my helmet, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I first thought about the idea of maybe potentially vlogging my journeys. And the thing is, I got kind of seasick just watching my videos back because I'm forever like looking in my mirrors, and I think it's probably a little bit different maybe in some other parts of the world, but in Asia, like your situational awareness should be on hyper-vigilant mode, and for really good reason, because some of the traffic is just crazy, and just the way trucks just overtake right in front of you. There are dogs and other animals just jumping out everywhere. And I'm just forever looking in my rear vision mirrors, and so I kind of scrapped the idea of helmet-mounted cameras as a result of that. And gorgeous little rice paddy just here. Just have a look at that. I'm actually in a town called Negara, Negara. It's on the western side. It's the southwestern side of Bali, and I came here about 5 or 6 days ago, and there's a whole story behind that, and we'll get to that eventually. But anyway, just back to having like multiple goes at this. I think we're about right now. I think like where the camera is now and where that kind of faces. I've got this screen down low. You can see, I think, perhaps the phone and the navigation that's happening there. And you've got a little bit of a field of view from, okay, yeah, we're definitely on a scooter and we're not just sort of, free floating through space with a camera parked out here somewhere. And it's not to say that this is how it's going to be for the rest of the time that I'm kind of scootering around, and but we'll see how we go from here. So I was prompted to start again this morning, because we've had our first rescue cat emergency this morning, and I'll just drop that clip in here. I was down at the markets trying to get some, I did get some, getting some lemons, because hydration is a huge issue here in the tropics, just consistently sweating, and also, especially, the whole Bali belly thing, you've got to be a little bit careful with the foods that you eat here, especially drinking the water, or that's an absolute no. And even ice in drinks, is you need to really just make sure that the ice is made from filtered water. But yeah, it's really easy to get dehydrated here, so it's just as a common practice, I make the water that I drink I've got a lemon squeezed in a litre to a litre and a half of water, has 1 lemon and then a teaspoon of sea salt, and so it's a bit of a natural electrolyte, and that's and that's why I was at the markets this morning. And then we've just come across this little kitten, completely abandoned, no mother in sight, and as always, I go around and I ask everybody, point to the kitten and does anybody own this kitten, and clearly it's only like a week old and it's dirty and it's desperate, and nobody wanted to take responsibility for it, and I can't walk past. And that's how my journeys over the last more than 3 years have really unfolded, and it has been because I will invariably stumble across a cat, or a pregnant mother cat, or other cats or sick cats just cross my path, and I can't walk away. There's nobody else around to take responsibility, or nobody wants to take responsibility, and so there you go, and then that dictates the course of my journey. And sometimes I've been stuck in hotel rooms for 2 months, unable to leave because I've suddenly got a pregnant mother cat giving birth to babies, and I need to deal with that. Or there are just sick cats that I come across that are like really desperately ill, and they need to get to a vet or some kind of a rescue centre for long-term care, and so it goes. So here we are, this little one here. We've managed to get the right food. It's a kitten milk replacement formula in packets, and a little bottle for the cat. It's had its first feed, and it's just curling up now with Mia, who is the owner of this hotel, the Hotel Ada, I think it's called, in Nagara. And wow, I mean, she's just one of the kindest human beings I've ever met in my life. Seriously, I don't know whether I'm a foreigner, and perhaps they don't get too many foreigners coming through there, but she gives me breakfast, just eggs and rice with crispy onions. She brings me water bottles, she brings me raisin bread, she brings me hands of bananas and other different types of fruits. She asked me in the morning, what am I doing today, and I tell her I'm going out exploring, and she'll come out with a bag of food for me to take with me and another water bottle. And she's just a really kind human being, and I'm a little bit taken back by it. So I brought this kitten back to her hotel this morning, and as you can see here, she's now curling up with the kitten. It's really young. It takes a lot of work at this age to keep them alive. Constant feeding every 2 to 3 hours. Excuse me. I've got a dry throat. I'm still a little bit dehydrated, to be really honest. And I need to stay warm, so either a hot water bottle or just curled up with you during the day or during the night. So it'll take a bit of work to keep this one alive, and if we can, it's got a home already, which is quite remarkable. And so we'll see. I'll stick around here for the next few days, and we'll see how that unfolds. But there's just more rice paddies here. I'm heading up into this kind of into the mountains, and I don't know if you sort of look on the map and not many people come this way in Bali. Of course, most are all on the other side. They're all on the other coast, the east coast, and Sanur, Kudalegi and Seminyak, Canggu, Uluwatu, Ubud, huge following from tourists who just love Ubud. But not many come this way, and this really is the kind of raw and unfiltered Bali. Just travelling through local villages, the air is clean and fresh here. It's beautiful. there's always the smell of incense, and it's just magical, because everyone comes out in the mornings to their little temples, their little shrines, and their offerings, and in those offerings they're praying for they're praying for all living beings. They're praying that God takes care of all living beings, and they're not just praying for their own wealth and good fortune and good health, which of course they pray for that as well, but they pray for all living beings. And there is that general kindness about the people in Bali, and I think that's why it has become such a popular place. And if you can imagine, well, 30 or 40 years ago, and I actually had the privilege of coming here with my sister around then, and Bali was really untouched and just a gorgeous. It was like this. This was how Bali was. This was, Kuta, Legi and Seminyak looked like this, if you can believe it. Ubud looked like this, and I mean, obviously these were, close to Denpasar, but nobody came to those places. The Australians were the first to really discover Bali. It was so close to Australia, and it is home to so many Australians, either permanently or as a second home, because it's just so close. And seriously, it is like the northern island of Australia. When you sort of travel through Kuta, Legian and Seminyak, all the beer bars are all got Australian football or cricket or something playing on big screens. It's full of Aussies in their shorts, drinking beer and rah-rah, having a great time, as they do, and it really is quite sweet. And there's something about that I actually love too, so I feel a little bit at home there. It's not really my environment. I prefer, this is more my environment, but nevertheless I have spent quite a bit of time in Legian, in the Mina Palasa Hotel, and that's where I kind of landed once 3 years ago on my way back from walking the Camino Trail with some friends, on my way back to New Zealand, where I was with my then partner Linda. And I stayed in this room down the back, room 107. It's a little garden room at the Mina Palasa Hotel, and Black Cat came to my door. And Black Cat was hungry, scared, terrified of human beings, but was there's a vehicle behind me. I'm just going to get off here because I'm not really in a hurry. So that strange sound that you hear, I don't know what these guys do here, but they put something over the exhaust pipe or whatever, so that the vehicle makes these weird noises whenever they put their foot on the accelerator. Anyway, it's a bit like boys with that tear all of the insides out of the mufflers on their scooters here, and they're just incredibly loud. But anyway, yeah, Black Cat came to the door, and then following Black Cat came Mama Cat, and I ended up being stuck there for a couple of months, looking after these two cats. I had an extraordinary journey with Black Cat, and Black Cat's on the little animation that you've seen at the front of this. I saw Black Cat last about 7 or 8 months ago, again on my way back to New Zealand, and they'd said to me there at the hotel that they'd not seen Black Cat for about 2 months, and that was a bit sad for me. That was a feeding station at the Mina Plus Hotel, so I kept them stocked of 20 kilo bags of food for the stray cats that were in and around the area. And so they said they hadn't seen black cat for about 2 months, and I was there for 2 days, and suddenly black cat shows up. I walk out the front and there's black cat by the back of my scooter, and so I gave him some food. We said hello, and we said goodbye then too. He went and sat up on their little temple shrine that sat out the front there, and I spent 10 minutes with black cat, and it really did feel like we were saying goodbye to each other. So that was a 3-year love affair with black cat, and he was also the beginning of my journey of rescuing cats through Asia, which it's just been really quite extensive over this time. And when I say Asia, like a little bit in Bali, but Sumatra, Lombok, and in a remote fishing village island in Thailand called Koh Jam. And I mean, we can talk a little bit about that again maybe in another time, but that's just an amazing place, Koh Jam. Hardly any tourists there, a few little cafes, a couple of little resorts, some bungalows on the beach. People are quite poor in general, so there's lots of animals that need attention. And I've set up a little bit of a sort of a program there. We've got like little donation stations at some of the cafes and things, so they're collecting money for the local cats, and then there's a couple of ladies that take care of them. They get the cats. You have to put a cats on a boat, on a long-tail boat, and then the long-tail boat ride to the Lam Quat Pier, which is it's like a trading port, because lots of the islands in around that, lots of the remote islands in around there are rubber plantations. So you're driving around on tyres that were potentially made using the rubber from some of these places. But there's a really successful little cat rescue program going on there. I have got a GoFundMe page, and I mean, nobody donates to it, and I think it's probably got a lot to do with credibility, and and I will put a link up in the back of this on the back of this on the back of this video, and you're welcome to contribute if you like, and I'm not saying you have to, but it does help because the money does go towards taking care of these animals. I may be able to get back to Koh Jam this time when I'm away, and I'll take you on that journey, and we can revisit them and potentially set up a few more donation stations to try and raise some more money as well. But we'll just see how things go. Right now I'm in Bali. I'm taking you out the back of Negara, and as you can see, this is just authentic Balinese villages. There are no hotels, no resorts, and no tourists, and it's all really sweet. So there's supposed to be some rice paddies to look at out here, but look, I mean, we're just going on the journey, and we're just going to have a chat anyway. So, and you get to experience a little bit of this with me as we're going, and I think that's a little bit how this channel, if it evolves, it'll be in quite an organic and unscripted way. And hopefully the content is sufficient enough that it's entertaining for you. There's no point otherwise, and potentially along the way we're going to rescue some cats, we're going to meet some people, we'll enrich some lives, either the lives of locals, or we'll enrich my life. And we might even enrich your life as well as you come along on this journey with me. And so, I mean, you know what to do with YouTube videos. You got to subscribe and like and share and all of that kind of stuff, and that's how. Oh, and make some comments too, because that's just how the whole sort of YouTube thing works. They're not going to promote anything that people don't like. So I'll do my best to bring you some content that is interesting. And here we go. This is a truckload of plastic, which is both interesting and uninteresting, and a shame. I will show you some of the plastic waste around the place. I went down to the seaport yesterday, and it is just absolutely littered with plastic. There's a little clip here of some of the fishing boats going out, and I deliberately walked down to the water's edge to film them, because if I stood back 10-20 feet you'd just see mountains of plastic all over the beach, and that's what most people do, unfortunately, when they make YouTube videos and take Instagram shots of their journeys through Asia. They kind of edit out all of that really horrible stuff. And I did myself yesterday, I'll be really honest with you, but I am going to show you some of that. I will show you some, and that's unfortunately that's just life here. And as you can see by that truck, so much of the stuff here is just made from plastic. It's such a shame, because there must be ways of making this stuff without using plastic. And again, this is the oil petrochemical industry, or whatever that is. It's big, and yeah, whatever. So we're 11 minutes away from kind of the destination, I guess, and I'll probably just stop this here, because it's just more of the same, and I'll just pick this up when I get back to where we're going. There's just been a major festival here. I'll put the name of it on screen, and they make these little ornaments, and I forgot the name of those two. It starts with a P or something, but they all make these little hanging ornaments, and some of the streets are just absolutely gorgeous, just utterly lined with them. I'm not quite sure how long they leave them out for, but so that's quite ornate. Look at that. That's a private house. Wow. I mean, some of these people just put so much effort into their little temples and shrines on their properties. It's just extraordinary. Oh, I'm not quite sure what that is. They look like instruments. Definitely musical instruments of some sort. Oh wow, look at that. Worth a look. Oh yeah, we've all heard that before. That's that classic Balinese sound. These are just covered in dust. No idea. Obviously this is someone who actually makes them. And this one's a really big one. It's a huge one. Look at that. That's my scooter. That's ADV 160. That's a really good scooter. Private house. That's just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Huh. And so this is getting a little bit remote, and this is a little bit steep. So, there's a scooter coming up. So I mean, like, the major concern with that would be that this concrete has got moss growing on it, and it just gets too slippery to come back up if you get if you go down. So obviously it's fine. You can see the scooter just coming out there, but you know, you need to be a little bit careful going down as well. A little bit muddy. That's worth looking at. You can see how the water has carved its way through that rock over the years, as water does. Creates huge canyons. Incredible. And this is clean. There's not any sign of any rubbish in here, which is heartening, because lots of these streams and rivers, especially up on the other side, on the eastern side, they're full of rubbish. Sorry. Not sure. This is pretty steep. I don't know if you can actually tell how steep this is. There we go. Wow, palm trees, coconut palms. Lots and lots of coconut palms. A huge tall coconut palms. They've been growing for years, decades. Wow, amazing. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this bike. Oh, gracious. It's worth having a look at. I am into bikes. It's one of my loves, and one of the reasons why I came back to Asia is to just get on a scooter and just go scootering through this balmy air, which is just divine. But yeah, along the way, wow, I mean, you just find all these crazy looking bikes, scooters and bikes through Indonesia. The boys, of course, make their own versions of things, custom bikes. They're into, there's a huge Vespa scene in, not so much in Bali, but it is in Bali as well, but there's a huge cult following for the Vespa scooter brand. And in especially on Java, they make all these crazy contraptions that sort of look more like out of a Mad Max movie, and somehow they're able to ride them down the road. So I'll just add some pictures or some footage of those. I'm not sure if we're going to my boys with loud exhaust pipes. There you go. I'm not sure if we're going to get to East Java. That was the plan, really, was to cross the ferry and go over to East Java and just get an experience of that part of Indonesia, rather than focusing on the Bali and the Indonesia that most people know, was to give you guys an experience of the Bali and the Indonesia that you don't know. But we'll see. Again, we'll see how that goes. I haven't been all that well in that first week. It usually happens when I get here. I think it happens for most people, to be really honest. You just come in contact with different kinds of bugs and things that in crowded environments, and then the food and the water and so on. So I'm still recovering from that, and I do need to just make sure that whatever it is that I do is nurturing for me and my health and my own well-being. But for now, we've got a little rescue cat, a little baby kitten that needs attention for the next week, and I'm going to stick around with Mia and just help her with that journey, and we'll just try and give this little critter the best chance it has at survival before I move on. Sorry about this road, it's really just changed completely. It's pretty rough. I'm quite sure how that'll look for you guys. Oh, we've got bitumen. And we've got 3 minutes to the destination, which is just a rice field up in the base of the mountains here. You can't actually get into the mountains from where I am. I did come across over the top from I don't know, I'll put the name of it here, but I stayed one night at a little place next to these lakes, and then I came across the top of the mountain and down. But you have to do that sort of like further east. But in the back here, there's no roads, there's no access. This is really quite sort of raw and untouched in behind here. I don't know whether it's national park or state forest. I don't know whether there is such a thing in Indonesia and Bali. But I don't know, maybe we might sort of ask ChatGPT whether there is such a thing. But I can't see any access roads on Google Maps. It's probably there might be something, but it's most likely just four-wheel drive only, or because even here, this is still quite manageable, but it wouldn't need to get any sort of worse than what this is before it's too risky for me. I certainly don't want to be travelling on any wet, muddy, hilly tracks. There's no point. There's not a lot of fun. I don't really want to get stuck. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to damage the bike. And yeah, I'm not into kind of like that level of adventure. I might have been a few years ago, but not now. I think this might be it here already, which could be a little bit disappointing, but I actually saw some better ones yesterday. Workers coming out of the forest. Hello. 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 Oh, that's kind of like the end of the road. I'm not going to go any further because that just gets kind of rocky. Oh, does that say a parking area? Oh, it does say parking area. That's just, hopefully there's... No, it doesn't say parking area. It's 10:35. It's possible that... Hello. It's possible that these guys sort of break in the middle of the day, a little bit like they do in Spain. Work start early in the morning and then have a rest for 3 or 4 hours during the heat of the day and then come back to it. I think I'll just go up to the top of this hill and see if there's any better view. But no, I don't think so. I think that's probably it. So I'm going to turn around and then I'll give you guys. I'll just get off the bike and we'll just have a look at the rice fields. Yesterday, I went for a bit of a run and I just saw some really gorgeous rice fields. I might have taken some photos or a bit of film. I might just pop those in here now. But look, you'll see plenty more along the way. But I'm almost certain that most of the Bali vlogs that you've seen have not shown you this side of Bali, which is really just raw and rural. It's clean, it's tidy, it's lush. And yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can hear the music. We've just looked at some of those bamboo xylophones. I can hear some playing off in the distance there. sound of some distant scooter. Bamboo xylophones. There's the wind in the grass. It's just beautiful. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining me. If I find something else interesting along the way, we'll turn the camera back on. Oh well, there you go. So that's the source of the... I won't go down there. We'll just have a little look from here. Yeah. Oh, they're actually asking me to come down. Hello. Hello. I could hear music from up there, yeah? Yeah?
No, saya tak bisa bahasa.
No English, yeah, I know, and no Indonesian. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks. Beautiful house, beautiful home. Yeah, she's saying come and sit down there with her. I'm not sure if that's what I really want to do. It's just so awkward. But you know, look at that. It's just such a classic little Balinese spot to sit. Yeah, beautiful, huh? Makasih, that's right. Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll go. Bye bye. That was sweet. There we are. Look at that. Beautiful.